anime and Warhammer. Tune into Ken Green Tats and Talks podcast.
What's the crack, everybody? Welcome to the Ken Green Tats and Talks podcast with me, your host, Ken. So I wanted to make a show that basically goes over everything that inspires me as a tattoo artist. Everything from Warhammer to manga to art to other tattoo artists and other tattoos out there in the big wide world. If you want to join me into this weird trip into my mind, give us a cheeky follow. Okay, so today's episode, I know I couldn't remember what it was last week, but this week is basically kind of my take on the tattoo industry. Not necessarily as a whole, and I'm not going to go into too much detail, but more about the kind of what customers want compared to what tattoo artists want to do. That kind of disparity almost, or gap that the market has. The tattoo industry, from its modern beginnings anyway, has always been about expression. Expressing yourself with a piece of artwork, whether it be at the very beginning something that nobody else had, some sort of meaning of like the old traditional ones that the army and stuff used to get, where and sailors and stuff, where they'd make it home, or they've done this journey, or stuff like that, right up to the more modern times where it has a meaning to you, as to a client. Sorry, I say you, to the client that's getting the tattoo. This idea came up because I have had a number of customers more recently than in the past that I can remember. Anyway, I've got a terrible memory anyway. But more customers recently that they're getting like manga or anime pieces, and their friends, or at least people they're friendly with anyway, have sort of said, "Why are you getting cartoons on you?" and stuff like that. And it made me sort of think, is like, why is the industry got to the point where people think that about artwork? You know what I mean? It's all about expressing yourself whatever way you want. Like, you will see every type of tattoo and tattoo artist and tattoo process, and even right up to people using tattoos as art displays. They're it's like a visual art thing, and visual art is mental. Like people filling buckets of sand and letting them fall, or rubbing themselves on the ground in like oil, and it's art is very subjective. Like if you look at anything, like the thing that probably most people would say, right? Music is a form of art. It's an artistic expression. But not everyone likes the same thing. You know what I mean? However, what you kind of seem to notice more and more is, to make it in the mainstream, you have to follow a certain pattern. So music is starting to sound more and more similar, even though you might sort of go, "Oh, that's an indie band, but they sound like this pop group," or "That's a rock band, but they have indie influence, which again leads back to pop," or a bit of it's becoming more and more generic, and I feel tattooing is kind of going that way in a manner of speaking. Like with the rise of social media, and everything online, like TikTok and stuff like that, you'll get people trolling tattoos. And unfortunately, the way social media and the mainstream media and stuff is, negativity sells, which is something I never want to do on this. This is me. Always try to put a positive spin on whatever it is I'm talking about. I'm never ever gonna sit and bitch and slag anything off. Even social media is great. That's where I get most of my clients from. It's a pain in the ass to use, but it's still great. It's one of the many avenues. Like even this is another avenue to get my bake out there, to go, hi, I'm a tattoo artist, come get tattooed by me if you want. You know what I mean? It's it's worrying that people will let other people's opinions depict what they want to do creatively, be it the tattoo artist or the client. You know what I mean? I know I've used a saying in one of my, I think it was last week's one, like the whole jack of all trades thing, but one that I would say is more prevalent in, I would say for the art community, the customer is always right. Yep, everyone has heard that one, and it has been skewed to the point that it just means that if you go in, you are right, with no matter what you say. And if you find out the actual full term, a customer is always right in a matter of their taste, right? So it's in their own. So if someone walks into a retail shop and wants to buy that horrendous top or the really boat looking hat, fine. The customer's always right, no matter their taste. If that's what they want to get, that's what they want to get. You're there to facilitate them. Doesn't mean they get to come in and pretend that they're right about everything. It's in a matter of their own taste. So that is more prevalent in the tattoo industry. If a customer is getting a permanent piece of artwork on their skin, the customer is always right. You know what I mean? Now, you'll even find on social media tattoo artists slagging off the generic and the mainstream tattoos. You know, like, oh, he's getting a lion. Oh, we're going to do something different and put some colour in the eyes. Yeah, that's what that person wants. You know, you're there to facilitate what they want. Obviously, there is exceptions to the rule where some clients come in and they just want a piece of artwork from you. And that's very much like the art industry in itself. Every artist is a different level. You go to any art gallery, you'll walk around and you'll go, what the hell is that? Or you'll go, wow, that's beautiful. But then someone else will come and go, oh, so boring. This is cool. You know what I mean? Everything is a matter of taste. And the way the industry goes with, say, the more top tier people turning away the more generic or mainstream tattoos because either they've done them loads in the past as they were building their career, or they just don't want to do them anymore. Sometimes that can force that person then to go to someone who's slightly more or slightly less skilled, shall we say. Again, a tattoo artist in their own right, but probably not to the same level as the person that they were talking to originally. Maybe, you know, again, I don't know. I'm not in everyone's mind. I'm not in everyone's mind, so I don't know 100%. But you know what I mean? That's what you kind of get the impression of. So you do get a lot of slightly poor quality generic tattoos because modern tattoo artists don't want to do the same thing over and over again, the same thing that's been done for 10, 15, 20 years. You know what I mean? Now, I've been lucky enough that I've been in a position that I never really had to do that. Skimworks, basically, they would go through the process of the consultation, and that would be aside from me. I would get the final sort of design, and then I would fix it up and make it like look proper. So I never had to deal with this is what I want. I don't think that's a good idea. Now, there obviously is ways you can talk to people. Like, it is a two-way street. You know what I mean? Like, there is stuff that as a tattoo isn't necessarily possible. Like that's probably the most things that I would turn down or say no to would be mad cover-ups. That's the most, like cover-ups that wouldn't feasibly be possible over what they've got. at this time. Obviously, there is now laser and blah blah blah. But that would generally be what I would turn down. If someone comes with an idea of one thing, I'd say maybe they have to make it a bit bigger so that it is tattooable. That's pretty much it. So I'm lucky enough in that that's pretty much all I have to say. I don't have to dance around the whole everyone's got this and you're just jumping on to the bandwagon of what somebody else has. But again, there is an element of so what? If that person wants a lion, a tiger, a pocket watch, a rose, why not do it for them? That's what they want. Some people might have seen this when it first came out and went, oh, that's really cool, and then just not being able to afford it. Tattooing is very expensive. It's very expensive. I have to say, even as a tattoo artist who earns enough, with the cost of family and rah, I don't know if I could afford a tattoo. You know, so like people who offer like Klarna or Pay 3 and stuff like that, that's handy. That makes it a wee bit easier. But yeah, there was no way I would have a wallop of money to go and get a tattoo right now. It's expensive. So maybe they've seen this back when it was kind of new and cool and went, I've always really wanted that. Now they have disposable income and they want it. To then be told, oh no, you don't really want to get that now. It's a bit old, or it's done to death, or blah blah blah. It doesn't matter. Like when it comes to that, the customer is always right in a matter of their own taste. That's what they want. That's what they should get. Now I'm not slagging off people who, like, by all means, I'm sure in the entire art world and music world, you know, you can get to a point in your career where, like say in music, you get to the point in your career where you don't have to tour every year, every month, every night, every weekend. You know, you can sort of leave it a couple of years and then maybe bring out an album once you feel like you're ready. You don't have to bring in writers to help you. You're going to write your own stuff because you've got the experience to write now. You know, same with artists, like as they've made the name for themselves, they can stop taking the small commissions and concentrate on doing the big commissions, the ones that like will get them more renown. I get that. Same with tattoo artists. You know, once they get to a point, they can suggest, is like, or sort of go, no, I don't want to do that because I've got this other person here who wants to get something big and blah blah blah. Like, there is going to be a balancing act between obviously what the customer wants and what the artist wants to do, which is why, and this has been around for years, you should always do your research on the artist and the style that you want. You will always find someone who is willing to work with your idea and make it something that still fundamentally what you want, however, is something the tattoo artist wants to do. You know what I mean? And even if you're pitching big to the guys who are like massively insta famous and stuff like that, and they've said no because either the books are full or whatever it is, and then you start filtering your way down. At some point, you will find someone who is willing to work with you, and hopefully get you a tattoo that you really like. Now I understand, like I was saying before, about the less skilled artists. They're obviously doing something right because they are making a career out of doing what people want, that obviously at a price that they are more comfortable with, or you know, they've got the real good gift for the gab. You know, they're able to put themselves across that the people keep coming back, and that person obviously is happy enough with what they've got that they do come back. So you can't turn around and slag them off as, oh, they're rubbish, they're not this good, or blah, blah. They're doing something right to keep people coming back. If they were wholeheartedly crap, then they wouldn't have business and they would eventually have to shut. You know what I mean? There is something that they're doing right, so you can't hold that against them. Um, but again, if you had of like say you think you feel you're higher up in the rung as a tattoo artist and you've turned it down because you didn't want to do it anymore, but you had a free day, you could have done it and you could have done it a bit more. But again, you're probably at that stage where you have done a bazillion of that thing and you don't want to do it anymore. So the industry itself is kind of it's like a vicious freaking circle. You know what I mean? You'll get the guys at the top slagging off the generic mainstream tattoos because they've done them loads because they've probably been tattooing for a wee while and they've grafted. Like you don't become insta famous kind of all overnight, or you know, so they've grafted and done all that to get to where they are. So then it filters down to the ones, and then you get the odd one that the person doesn't like because they were maybe too impatient to wait, or you know, whatever it is, and now they've come back round where they need a cover up, so they're going to the top, and then they're like, by this stage they've kind of like gone full circle and like, I don't care what it is as long as it covers it, you know. And a lot of it is to do with the negativity on social media, like posting about posting something negative will get you more views than posting something positive, and that's just the way it is. And unfortunately that's the way you almost have to pitch yourself. And you want to know what, probably that is what the guys at the top, they have got a social media team and they've sort of said that they post a bit of negative, they'll get you more views. But that, and then they're never, don't get me wrong, they're never sort of just sitting going, it's not shite. They do generally make a joke out of it. So it probably is a bit of marketing. But it is, again, that never ending circle of like the snake eating its own tail to get to where you are. Tattoos and tattoo artists, like, and again, I say artists, like, there is nothing wrong with being a tattooer. There's nothing wrong with working in a street shop and literally just doing anything that comes in the door. People will want anything, and tattooers, like street shop ones, that is their bread and butter, that is their jam. They will do whatever comes in the door, and that is a great way to be, because that person wants, oh, I just want this wee symbol, or I don't want that, or I want something bigger. Brilliant, have a seat, I'll be with you in a bit. Bish bash bosh, job done. As long as it's done well and the customer's happy, you can't fault that. That's what that customer wanted, you gave them that. It's probably more when you become a bit more, picky's not the right word, and I don't want to come across as like slagging off anyone who's picky, because there probably would be times I might be, but picky's not the right word. What is the right word? Probably someone who wants to more focus on their artistic style. Right? That's a positive spin on it. And that's true. Like, you wouldn't necessarily go to an abstract artist and ask them to do a portrait, like a realism portrait. I don't mean, I suppose that does apply to tattoo artists as well, but I mean, like, in the art world, you wouldn't go to them and sort of go, yeah, I want this, because they'll be like, well, I can't do that. I do the abstract kind of more thinky kind of stuff. Like, I don't know if, like, Jackson Pollock, could he do a Rembrandt style oil painting? You know what I mean? Or is he just into that sort of visual splatter? Is that where his main, you know, stuff like that? Could you go to Banksy and ask him to do a realism portrait? You know, it's, you can't expect everyone to be able to do everything. And if you're starting to refine a style, then you probably don't necessarily want to do everything. So this is my problem with it. Like, I understand where everyone's coming from, customer and the different levels of tattoo artists. It's more, I don't like the negativity in the world when it comes to that. Like, why should you turn around and sort of say, oh, why are you putting that on your body? It's like, it doesn't matter, it's their body. Let them do what they want with it. You know what I mean? You shouldn't let the internet decide for you. It's like, oh, I'm going to get a tattoo to be cool and fit in. Let's get like David Beckham's one. You know, it shouldn't necessarily be that. It should be something you want. However, at the same breath, if you want to be cool and that is your, like, having tattoos is cool, you know, and I don't know, it's a tough one to put a positive spin on it. The gist of it is kind of, tattooing is an art form. Tattooing is an expression of yourself, and it's an expression of the tattoo artist, and it's an expression of the client. There should be, and I'm pretty sure nearly everyone is like that, don't get me wrong, there should be a bit of back and forward. There should be a kind of like, this is kind of what I want. Okay, that's cool. Can I do it this way? I don't know. What about this way? Yes, that's fine. The client should never feel bad about saying no. Never. And the artist should never feel bad about going, oh, right, yeah, I can get that changed now. You know what I mean? The industry itself should be, we are tattoo artists. We are giving people something that they have wanted. Doesn't matter for how long they've wanted it. This is what they want. They now have a piece of artwork on them that I did. I did art on skin. That in itself is way harder than art on paper or iPad or canvas. Putting it on a skin and making it stay in the skin and stuff, that's class. And then the client is getting a piece of artwork, not to put up on the wall, because they may rent the place and not be able to screw it up. They don't want to get it framed. They want to have it with them. For whatever reason, it could be like, I love this character, or this has real big meaning for me, or, you know, this was my mum's favorite flower. She's passed away. You know, there is a reason the client wants to get the tattoo, and tattoo artists should be proud to put that on a client's skin. I have to say, I am massively proud, and I love all the tattoos that I've ever done, be it the weird, the wonderful, or the downright cool. You know what I mean? And it's taken me a long time to get here, because I have said I'm very over, like, self-critical. I am, and that's fine. It's acceptable in this sort of industry to be critical of your own work to improve. However, I'm still proud of what I did at that time. I'm still proud that that person is wearing my tattoo in the big wide world. I am proud. I'm kind of proud of the fact that I haven't had a whole heap of touch-ups. Now, because of my overly critical mind, that usually means either in my head I'm going, well, that means I've done a good enough job that it's okay, or I've messed up so badly they don't want to come back. You know what I mean? So it's a double-edged sword in my head. But going back to the saying, the customer is always right in a matter of their taste. Absolutely. Social media and outside influences should not affect the piece of artwork that you want to put on you. No matter what it looks like, no matter what style it's in, no matter what, you've seen something, you think it's cool, you would think it looks good on your arm, you've really wanted it, or this, that, or the other. It shouldn't be belittled. It shouldn't be frowned upon. That is your jam. That is what you want. That is what you get. And the tattoo artist should be proud to his bones to put that on you. And that's the fundamental thing about this video, is I want to build a community of possible clients and customers, or past or other people's clients and customers, who are happy to show us, like, yes, this is a blah 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 tattoo and it was cool, it's what I really wanted. And then I want to build a community of tattoo artists that are like, I'm proud that I put that on their skin. I love every tattoo that I do. I'm happy to work with clients. I do the best to my abilities. You know what I mean? And that is the fundamental thing of being a tattoo artist. An artist Art in general is an expression of self, be it art that you commission by getting a tattoo artist, or art that you do by being a tattoo artist. You know, you shouldn't necessarily worry about it being cool or trying to fit in or all that kind of stuff. It should be, this is an expression of me, and that tattoo artist helped me with that expression. So basically, it's just make sure you do your research, have a chat with your tattoo artist, make sure you're both on the same page, and have fun covering your body in amazing artwork. And as tattoo artists who watch this, have fun putting your artwork permanently on people's skin. That's what you got to remember. This is permanent. You're putting that on someone's skin because they have liked your vibe and your work. Smash it every time. And artists and clients, make sure that you love it and you're happy with everything in it before you get it done. Don't be scared to change something on the day. That's usually, I get my clients in early to do that. You know, I show them design. If they're happy, brilliant. If they need to change something, they do. Now, again, I'm very lucky enough that a lot of my clients are quite open and nobody really wants any changes. There's sometimes really minor ones, but don't be scared to advise on changes. Just make sure that you and your tattoo artist are on the same page and you produce a piece of work that you are both happy with. That is all that needs to be done. It doesn't need to get 1 million likes on Instagram or Facebook, or your TikTok doesn't need to go viral your video doesn't need to go viral on TikTok. You as a tattoo artist need to be happy, and you as a client need to be happy with the tattoo that you have, and that's it. Express yourself through the art that you want. Don't let other people tell you that it's a stupid idea. That's what you want, that's what you get. And get something cool, and make sure it's cool. Prove the people wrong. Say, oh, what'd you get that for? Actually, that's kind of cool. Where did you get that? You know what I mean? Because the tattoo artist has gone out of their way to make it a banging tattoo, even if it's a silly idea. You know what I mean? If you want a tattoo or a piece of artwork, whatever it is you want, talk to your tattoo artist, give them as much information as you can. Don't let trolls on the internet or reels on TikTok tell you that your idea is too generic or too mainstream. If you want it and it's something your artist can do, get it. Tattoos are an expression of self, not an expression of being cool and fitting in. So just be yourself, express yourself, get a piece of artwork from whoever you want, and make sure you are both happy with it. Client and tattooer, be happy with what you've done, and the tattoo industry should hopefully change for the better, obviously. I don't like how negative it is. Anyway, that's my 2 cents. A wee bit more of a rant this week. Apologies. It was just something I seen and I felt like I needed to talk about. Also a bit shorter this week. I'm going to take a break next week because I'm taking a week off. Just because I feel like since January it's just been madness. I haven't stopped. So from next week I'm taking a break, and then the following week I'll start again. I think it's going to be the week before the convention. Update on my costume. Some of you's got it right in my question in my story. And when I say some of you, like 2. Most of you didn't. But I've also been informed that if I shave, I will get divorced. So the facial hair isn't going to change. Like I said in the last video, I'd rather not be divorced. But yeah, so don't join me next week because I won't be here. But the week after, for a really fun and interesting video that I have not actually figured out what yet. I will decide that next week, what my next set of videos will be about. So, gonna love yous, gonna leave yous, See you in 2 weeks. Bye.